G'day Australia, and happy Monday and happy spring to everyone. And just wanted to say a quick message in regards to and response to the march that happened 31st of August yesterday on Sunday all around Australia, and with a point attempted to be made about anti-mass immigration. So in other words, the government's incompetent like always, and there's a rising feel and sentiment across Australia that the incompetent management, the mismanagement of immigration in Australia, leading to mass immigration, qualify that as you will, but is going to increase our already existing troubles here in Australia. Now that's the main message I could gather from the organisation of this march. Now, we've seen, like you've all seen, the fighting and the videos online, what happened over Sunday, unfortunately, is the case. But I'd like to call for everyone just to refrain from condemnation and really just jumping the gun and reacting emotionally with a lot of vitriol and, a lot of sanctimony. We need to just take a step back, that's what I'd say. But from what I can tell, early on in the piece, the organisation fell apart because it was a young fellow that initiated it. Then the National Socialist Network gained control, and they gained the headlines and painted this march for all the wrong reasons, like as if it's purely about their racist ideology, the National Socialist Nazi Network, whatever you call them. And I don't believe that was the case. From what I can tell, and correct me if I'm wrong in the comments, it was about mismanagement, incompetent management from our government, as per always, in regards to immigration. The policies are not clear. It seems to be overdone, calling it mass migration. And we have alarm bells, over just across the way in the UK. And that's a different country. You don't need to think about it, but they've got issues. It's complex, and it stokes a lot of cultural hatred and violates their values when there are lenient policies given to immigrants who commit violent crimes, etc. All that type of, it's very complex. But economic crisis here in Australia, across the world, doesn't seem to be helped in the slightest by mismanaging immigration. So I believe that to be the main point. However, yes, there is a National Socialist Network in charge. They took the reins in Melbourne. There was fighting, etc., and it's all quite unfortunate. So I just wanted to clarify a few things, that being the main message. Correct me if you feel that is wrong and there is more of the National Socialist Network racist message being sent through that march, because I feel like that was the unfortunate hijacking, even though they took the reins of the organisation at some stage. It's not what most, from what I can tell, anyone really marched for. Another thing, we had counter-protesting. I think they called them like pro-Palestine counter-protesting, and that's what the NSN rumbled into and, had a big fight with, etc. And all around, everywhere. Like I'm here in Newcastle, there was counter-protesting. And I believe it's from anyone that really saw the march painted with that National Socialist Network ideology, as in just anti-immigrants in general, just racism flat out, just overtly, for no other reason, just white Australia, racism, get rid of them. And I just want to clarify for everyone, sit back, stop being sanctimonious. We need to let this digest and understand it a bit better. Offer a bit more empathy towards everyone, because everyone's not just a stupid, dumb Aussie or a bogan Aussie that went. There are real values at play here. So when it comes to anti-racism, like just being against racism, not the Ibram Kendi's bullshit, but being against racism, I think most people that marched would be against racism, and they're not against immigration. I saw a lot of placards saying, "I'm not racist, I'm not against immigration." So I believe you're on the same page there. And in regards to pro-Palestine organised march, counter-march, well, it's interesting because you've got Islamic people, like Muslims, involved in the pro-Palestine considerations, and rightly so. And I don't believe there needs to be any conflict here. There's a few simple misunderstandings. Firstly, when a fella burnt the flag, to all the pro-marching Sunday Australians that marched in opposition to, like as an anti-mass immigration march, for a bloke that burnt the flag on the Across the Bridge, Harbour Bridge, pro-Palestinian march, that doesn't mean let's destroy Australia. To hell with the values and the people. That means F the government. We all agree on F the government for a number of reasons. So when it comes to the pro-Palestinian march, when I see the flag being burnt, correct me if I'm wrong again, but that clearly just means government, you're incompetent, you're immoral, you're complicit for your direct and indirect activity here, allowing what Israel is doing. It's just bombing children isn't Australian. It's not anywhere in the West. It's not anywhere with anyone with good values and morals. Judaism, Islam, Christianity, Hindu, no one wants that. That's evil, okay? So that's just purely spiritually interpreted, that nobody wants bombing of children. Israel's doing that. Burn the flag and when you're marching for Palestine means fuck you, government. That's that. Very easy. Now, I understand there is a huge challenge, multiculturalism challenge, immigration, that needs to be on the open forum, discussed by our politicians, far better and articulated better by our politicians, and have made more transparent. That's what this march should be about, demanding them a bit more pointy of a message, but telling them to come out of Parliament House, come out of your session, come and talk to us on the lawn when you protest there at Canberra. That should be the way it's done. But the whole ambiguity and vagueness of this poor organisation of the march, to be honest, left it open for attack, misinterpretation, simple misunderstandings. So, yes, people want to be proud to be Australian. People want to be proud of themselves, their family, who they are, what they do here and there for a job, for work, with their friends, and their identity on many levels. They want to be proud of themselves. So it's not being proud of yourself as an Australian. It doesn't mean there's any attachment or association with being racist. Being concerned about the state of affairs in Australia, and if immigration and massive amounts of immigration may impact that negatively, well, that's not racist either. They're good discussions to have, and the politicians need to come to the table. So I just wanted to clarify, say a little piece there. We need to step back, consider everyone, not denigrate and condemn everyone straight away, and also call for more on our politicians, because we unite in how incompetent we can see, how we can see how incompetent our government is. And yeah, it's unfortunate that we have these little misunderstandings, and it blows up. Like, for example, you don't need, if you are concerned about mass immigration in Australia, it doesn't mean you're racist or you're associated with any far-right NSN Nazi policy or party or ideology. You can be a normal citizen that stays away from politics but has concerns there and goes, yeah, we should address them, let's have a talk to the politicians, let's march. But you have zero association or in connection to anything related to far-right Nazi business. And likewise, here's a very important message. I just want to tell you all this. So clip this out if anyone wants to save this video and make a reel, go for it. Clip this. If you are an Australian that's concerned for the welfare and well-being of any minority group, any group that's dispossessed and is in any number of the minorities, it does not mean you have to be aligned with any socialist, far left ideology or party, even if they are the organisers of such a march. For example, take the pro-Palestine march across the bridge. They're destroying children. We can all unite in saying, as Aussies, take a referendum, Albo. Do we all think that's immoral? Big yes right there. I mean, if it comes up as a no, we're in trouble. But there's a big yes there. It's a serious issue, right? So that does not mean that if you marched across the bridge, you're now part of the organisers' clique and these ideology. So everyone can do as they please. There can be socialists that take the reins and want to organise marches for minority groups. Good. You can join them a socialist march as it's got a message, a pointed message about disarming Israel and saving Palestinian lives. It doesn't mean you agree with socialist ideology or anything. That's one thing to get clear. And the message to you activist types, that demographic of students and the activists and the socialist-minded characters, stop making every single issue to help reduce human suffering about socialist ideology. You can be a capitalist, full far right-wing capitalist, and care for human welfare, but not agree with anything to do with socialism. You don't call each other, get on the mic and start saying everyone's a comrade and everything. Stop doing that, because you're literally inhibiting and prohibiting more support and unification to garner support, like help to reduce the issue, to fix the issue. So stop that, guys. Little socialist activist-minded characters, good on you for doing your work and showing your heart up and care. But when you go out there and talk to people in the Australian public for marches and things of such nature, do not classify the entire march as socialist, Marxist, comrade ideologies. Just focus on the particular issue and how if you're a spiritual person with a heart that can see suffering and you want to reduce it, that's where you want to attract everyone to. You might be socialist, your friends might be, your groups might be, great, go for it. You don't need to denigrate and hit and condemn anyone that's not, because if they're in that march that cares about X issue, they need to care about all other X issues that in the way that you care for them, in the socialist way. Stop doing that. It's stupid. I don't care if you're socialist and you're activist and you've got a big heart, do it. But be open to people that care for that issue as a human that's non-political, but doesn't care and maybe disagrees with you on the other issues. Stop that, okay? You got to start dominating that control, that need for control. Like the Nazi NSN party wanted control. They got control over the march on Sunday and it made it ugly. That control is what fucks it all up. So, again, all you fellas, you are interested in mass immigration and the negative impact it might have, great. Well, go and talk to Parliament, get the politicians out to speak and make it more clear and outline what their plan is so we can all maybe have input. And also, for you fellas, don't be so scared to go and join and walk along with the socialist groups that are marching for Palestine. Like, there is one particular issue going on there that, believe it or not, you guys on the right, I hear you going, I don't care what's going on over in Israel and what's going on in that part of the world. It's not nothing to do with me. I just care about Australia. Stop being so small-minded. We're all far more connected than you can believe. We are connected to the States are connected to Israel. And it goes on and on. That's a whole nother speech in itself. But we are very, very connected. So when there is violations to values like destruction of children going on there, that's permitted by the US, that we're like we're one of their states. Yes, you should care. So don't be so ignorant to say you don't care about what's going on there. You need to care, and if that means the march is going along the bridge and there's some Joe Blow that's a socialist that is organising it all and he's got his little socialist banners, hammer and sickle, forget him. You can still march and say, yeah, F you, foreign policy minister here and our elbow on your government for supporting indirectly and directly this genocide. You don't need to go hammer and sickle or Che Guevara. Like, you guys all need to stop your control, step back with your sanctimonious condemnation, and have a bit more of a discussion, interpret a bit more. I'd love to hear a bit more now that it's all gone, because I hear a lot of loud voices, this new fella, big Chocky, going on, having a bit of fun, but I'd love to hear more on this interpretation now. Please respond. Joey Jamaal, you've been commentating on it for a little while, and I have faith that there's a new protest coming up, I think 13th of September, about corruption in the government. I have faith that we all unite there and we can all get the government sitting Parliament in their session to come out, and that it should eventually be at Canberra so we can have a chat to them, because all of this is creating a lot of content, guys, and all that. It's great, but you're not clarifying enough for people who only get to pay a little bit of attention and are misunderstanding lots and condemning lots. So the Joey Jamaals, the big Chockies and Punters politics, you should be talking about this stuff. I know you want to focus on tax, but mate, values come first. You want to get the oil companies to pay tax? Yeah. Then who's going to hold that money, that tax money? What are they going to do with it? What values are within the hearts and minds of those politicians that are holding that extra tax money from the gas companies? You think it's just going to magically be set to schools and like put into rainbows and healthcare. No, it's going to go down the same path as the lion's share of all our tax money does. So Punters Politics, please get involved with this. Don't denigrate and just dismiss it. Oh, they're just divisive. No, it's important. People are just misinterpreting it a lot. So get involved. Actually get more discussions going. Interpret it for more lay people, that just normal people that just want to go about their life, and they've got hard lives, relationships, jobs, everything, you name it, and they just want to be able to get on board appropriately. So unify us a bit more. Want to see a bit more unifying thought, interpretations that understand each other and show empathy to each other. So anyways, that's just me having a quick little chat for a Monday. Hope you are all well and recover well and interpret even better for the next time.